Alright, AK Fire Control Group, take 3. My hands will be in the way sometimes. It doesn't matter if it's... Make sure it's unloaded. Remove the top cover. Remove the recoil spring and guide. Remove the bolt carrier. You probably don't need to fold your stock to do that. I do. Next, we need knurled tweezers, knurled at the front, and we can then take the shepherd's hook, push it up a bit from below, that works just fine, and then you can already push on the trigger axis pin from the right side of the receiver to slightly dislodge it. Oh yeah, make sure that it's actually the hammer is dropped, that makes it easier. Hammer dropped. Now pull up on the hook, push slightly on this, and the hook will drop next to its groove on the pin. Let's zoom in a bit. Better. Now you can see it better. There it is now. Next I can, while everything is still nice and neat in there, put it all the way on semi, grab this leg of the trigger spring and pull it to the side so it's no longer on the leg of the trigger. Same goes for the other side. That one's very hard to capture on camera and you will have to do a bit of pulling to get it over that hook at the rear. And then you can push that one off as well. Like I said, it's hard to show on camera without having my hand in the way, but it's off now. Now only the trigger axis pin is holding the hammer down, the trigger down, and I can pull it on full auto basically, push on the axis pin and take out the axis pin. With the axis pin removed, I can put it back on semi-auto, push up on the trigger from below, tilt it forwards, make sure that this hook goes back under the hammer after I have pulled the trigger itself over the safety, and then I can just pull it out. From here I can remove the parts of the trigger assembly, making sure not to lose, for example, this spring and the other springs inside. But I can also, and this was the point of this, tilt the selector all the way upwards and take it out. This is the WBP one. It's the same deal essentially with the stock VFC. Putting it back together is the same in reverse. You put in the selector, put it on semi, take the trigger group, hook it underneath, make sure you get it in there, pull it down until it sits nice and tight down here. Then you put in the trigger axis pin. The shepherd's hook is kindly out of the way. And yes, the VFC trigger axis pin goes over the trigger spring, unlike on most real AKs where the spring goes over the top of the axis. You may need to do a bit of finagling to get it all the way through. In this case, it was pretty easy. Next, I like to take the shepherd's hook and put it back into its groove, push it down into the groove. And then these legs of the trigger and hammer spring need to be pulled back up over their legs. It's easy on the left side and harder on the right side. My hand will inevitably be in the way here, but that's just how it goes. Oh yeah, putting it all the way into semi helps. And this is where the tweezers really have to be knurled, because you won't have enough purchase otherwise, because that spring is kind of stiff. And we're back. That's how it should be. Now, everything's back together.